The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach here, friend? As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what's going on? Well, as I said before I left on vacation, you probably didn't want to go short last week, and you wanted to reevaluate whether you wanted to go short today. We're up 20 points on the S&P cash. S&P cash is 2780. Options basically said that, this thing wants to hover around 2760. So we're a little higher than that, which is not uncommon. You always want to add just a little to those numbers most of the time, unless you're in a deep, dark bear market. But it is. Oh, yeah. Thanks, God. We wanted to be out here. Is there a lot more to be had above this range? And the answer is probably no. We're hitting a lot of resistance in my sector oscillator. But what is going on? Well, my belief is we're waiting on earnings, and we'll talk about that today. Other things going on? I think that's about it. I think a lot is overblown. The U.S., in fact, I thought that last weekend was the weekend that May's government would roll over and May would go under. I suspect that with May going under, the next government that's going to fall is going to be Germany's with Mrs. Merkel. She's probably in a worse position than even May was in, and that May was in the fact that 80% of the people that are in the country want her to change the immigration policy, and she's having none of it. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more you could say about it than that. Trying to rule against the will of the people is problematic in any kind of, at least even semi-democracy. People continue to try, but you know what? Your first job is keeping your people safe. And I'm going to say that both May and Merkel in the last few years failed at that level. And I don't know if that's about it. Anyway, well, he's not a democracy of any kind. And I don't think he pretends to be either. Somebody talking about the ruler of China. But if you do have people that actually vote and you can't rig the votes, it is problematic. Dow's up 300, NASDAQ's up 43. Now, one of the questions got to be, what does the volume look like? Well, it hasn't been great, but it hadn't been great for a while, and that's because of the summertime. We're turning about 3.5 billion shares as we start to show off today. And again, not a lot, but is it going to be enough? I think it's going to be enough to do what stocks have done for basically the last 2 or 3 years, and that is rally into earnings for the most part, and then have a big gap down if they missed, and have a little higher if they make it. And that kind of looks like that. What do we have going on here? Well, let's do a little history, then we'll get to earnings this week and my theories on a few of the stocks and why they're moving the way they are. But it's time for a little bit of history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating. And on this day in 1941, Crackerjack British cryptologists break the secret code used by the German army to direct ground-to-air operations on the Eastern Front. And that would be great if it was true. The answer truly is that the Poles broke the Enigma cipher, what, 1938, 1939? They got the machines and the base part of how you did it out before they killed all the people that knew how and the people that did it. And I don't know if you can say, if you ever watched the movie about this whole thing, huge political narrative on really what happened. And probably the worst part of the entire movie I hate is that they give Mr. Tommy Flowers, who designed a machine after the movie that actually did this thing on an industrial level and was the first real programmable computer. And just very little discussion about that. But again, don't get me started on narratives, because it's all about making a political point and not actually telling the truth. Lot of smart people all came together to make this happen. Not one single guy, as the movie would suggest. And they had a big leg up, as I said, also from the Polish scientists who had already figured out how to break the Enigma. At this point, the British needed to figure out how to make and break a more sophisticated Enigma, because they just kept on adding additional combinations from additional wheels to actually a plug board on the front of it. But if you ever get a chance over in England to go to Bletchley Park and check all this stuff out, you can. If you would like the history of actually what did happen, there's a great guy from Nottingham University that goes through it on YouTube. I'll be glad to send you back the link on it. But a lot more going on than what the movie is. But no one really believes a movie, Hollywood movie anyway, is truly history. Does anybody believe that? I think a lot of skulls full of mush do. But for the most part, almost no movies get history correct. There's a handful of them, but that'd be it. Was there a thing called a Turing machine? And the answer is no, not so far. Some people have recreated them, and in theory they work, in practice not so much. Yes, I'm saying the imitation game had nothing to do with actual history. A lot of that was all cobbled together. In fact, Turing's big contributions to computers came in the years after the war. A whole lot of papers that he wrote. But by looking at Tommy Flowers' original programmable computer, that was all a big secret. They don't ever talk about Tommy Flowers. Kind of the real hero of all of that, in my opinion.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
As we said, I think it's a lot of hurry up and wait. We may pull back a little bit going into Friday. But Friday morning, before the bell, we've got JP Morgan, Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, PNC Bank, Infosys Technologies, First Republic Bank, and First Horizon National Corp. So a handful of stocks. Monday, we see Bank of America, BlackRock, JB Hunt, BioAmerica, Netflix, and Vernet X Holdings. Tuesday, we get into more of the financials, or at least the broker-dealers with Goldman Sachs, United Health Group, Johnson & Johnson, Lockheed Martin, Progressive America, Mercantile Bank, Charles Schwab, CSX Corporation, Interactive Brokers, Pinnacle Financial Partners, AdTrans. Wednesday, we go to Abbott Laboratories, Morgan Stanley, M&T, ASML Holdings, WW Granger, U.S. Bank Corp, Textron, Novartis, Ericsson, International Business Machines, or as I know it, Itty Bitty Minds, American Express Companies, Alcoa, United Rentals, Kendall Morgan, Steel Dynamics, Canadian Pacific, Crown Castle, Glencore. We get into Thursday, it's Delta, Nucor, Blackstone, TP&G, Philip Morris, Bank of New York Mellon, Donner Corp, not the Donner Party Corp, spelled another way. BB&T, RPM International, Snap-on Tools, Magic Investments. I always wanted to say, put my own tagline on Magic Investments. If it makes a, and change it to Miracle. If it makes a profit, it's a miracle. SAP, Union Pacific, First Third Bancorp, Sunoco, GATX Corporation, Microsoft, Intuitive Surgical, Skechers, eBay, Cintas, Capital One, and then Friday, this is the one I think is going to matter when we get to the 20th, and that is General Electric, Cleveland Cliffs, Honeywell, Schlumberger, Black & Decker, Can't even say it today. I'm going to skip it. SunTrust, Regions Banks, Baker Hughes, Kansas City Southern, State Street, Manpower, BF Corp. And then you get into the next week with even more. Halliburton, Hasbro, Alphabet, Google, all the stocks. It's all broken out now. Cadence and Sam Mina, Verizon, TD on Tuesday, Biogen. Of course, they just had a big day on Friday with their new Alzheimer's drug. You got Amgen, which I haven't brought up, I think, on the show in a while. Everybody on Wall Street's talking about their new drug for migraines and why this thing has taken off from 185 up to 195 here in the last week. As they say in the movie and theater business, BOFO, box office. I don't know what BOFO stands for. I have to look it up during the break. But anyway, apparently everybody is dying, especially if you've got migraines, to get Amgen's latest drug about headaches, migraine headaches. It doesn't just cure them, it basically prevents them. So you don't get them, so you have to take their drug. You just take it all the time and then you don't get them. And that's always one of the things that everybody wants to take a look at. Now, is it back up here to a previous high? Is there light volume? The answer is yes. In fact, all these things look rather light. So could we have a pullback? I think the answer is yes. But I will warn you that almost, and one of the reasons why I don't short stocks going, for the most part, going into earnings with a couple weeks to go, and more likely, if it's within a month, I won't. And that is that stocks can hold up on very light volume going into earnings for weeks, if not an entire month. And you may actually see that with Amgen, especially, I don't know if it's true, but I mean, it's got the ring of truth about this new Alzheimer's drug, not Amgen, the new migraine drug. And of course, BIIB with the new Alzheimer's drugs. A lot of these things been worked on a long time, now getting out the gate. But I thought that eventually these biotechs would get a spark this year. It's taken half the year for these things to actually get any kind of movement that is significant and higher. In fact, I think we just went into the positive side of the IBB for the entire year on Friday. When we look at some of the financials, the chart doesn't look all that bad. You would like to see one more test on lighter volume. That may have been Friday with 41 million shares. And that may be all you get. You got the pop up today. You've got about Friday's volume already, about 42 million shares in the XLF. That doesn't look all that bad. Volume's about the same on the way up as on the way down. So the best you can look at is probably some kind of trading range. That trading range could take you to $28.50 on the XLF. Other than that, very tough to go out and figure out what else is going on. VMware, which has been tied like a millstone around one's neck to Dell. Dell's actually, I guess, selling their shares as they go public. And if you missed that last week, this was a backdoor approach to getting Dell back on the exchanges, why they took care of all the probably less than legal, semi-legal bookkeeping operations that went on in Dell for a long time. They went back, went private, and this is kind of a backdoor thing, but apparently they are going to be selling out the VMware shares. So everybody's worried about a little bit of liquidation. I think this is a fairly decent company. You would love to see this thing come back down on lighter volume, maybe, 125s or something, and then take a look at it. Right now, you're going back into this huge spike at 165 from January 26th. That had 28 million shares. You got into it on July 2nd with 10 million shares. So what? little more than a third. Now you're pulling back into this gap. You don't have a lot of volume. I'm just suspecting that this could get back and fill all three of these gaps as Dell gets out of VMware over time. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research, but that wouldn't be bad. That would set you up for a three-gap play. The next one would be at 140, and the next one would be about 122.50. And I don't think it changes the company that much, but certainly the liquidity and the amount of shares out there become issues. SWCH was a switch. IPO hadn't been around here that long, but might be making some kind of lows out here. I've been watching a handful of these IPOs. We'll talk about this more when we come back. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can put a message in the den at any time.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. We're talking about switch out here. In fact, forgot to do it. I nodded off. What do we have? Let's take a good look at the what this company does. Collation space and related services, technology and digital media companies, cloud managed service providers, financial institutions. Nevada, Michigan, and Georgia. Switch was founded in 2000, headquartered in Las Vegas, Nevada. Anyway, as I said, been out here for a while. I do like the way that this is starting to actually base out, and this is what you want to look at. Give me just a second here. Okay, I wanted to get the IPO lockup dates for this just to make sure. Okay, it's already expired. That was for 4 of this month. Okay, so you're clean on that side. What was the original IPO on this? Priced October 6th, 2017. Does my data go back to there? Yep, it does. So I've got full out here. Anyway, a lot of these IPOs are like this. They'll come out. This is kind of a more interesting one for and targeted to people doing presentations and events that need to be able to go and do the ability to scale out to something like a Netflix that has a new movie. Interesting technology. Been fairly quiet since it did come out. In fact, let's do this too. S, maybe CH. Okay. Okay. Earnings August 13th. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, but wouldn't be surprised to see this thing back up around $15 going into that August 13th expiration, or I mean, earnings announcement. You came down on with a lot of volume on what was this, May 15th. So you're basically at this point getting ready for the next earnings call. And you know what? It's finding a bed here around this level. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. There are a few stocks out here that are looking rather interesting, but again, the first thing I want to be looking at right now is if it is a possible long or short position, is when are the earnings? And this one may be far enough away that it might be interesting. We've got Sonic Corporation, which tends to do well with its drive-ins in summertime, tends to get a little weak. Question is, how soon is this thing going to probably start selling for the winter? June 22nd, got to $36.15. You got to that on Friday with 715,000 shares. Today you got about 400,000 shares. But this is pretty close to what I look for in the double repo pattern, and maybe one of the best looking double repo patterns, at least at the moment. Any close below the 9-day moving average, or I like better the displaced moving average, which is the 3x3. They're pretty close. One, I don't know if you can make a big case for one over the other. I just suspect that the 3x3 is a little better. But you got 2 dojis out here in 2 days. You get a third doji out here and no volume. Going to be yet another interesting day. So you got enough time. It's not, you got 6 weeks or 7 weeks before earnings. So not a bad setup. And again, generally fairly decent trends of kind of like cruise ships. Fall comes in, there's kind of a bullish bias. Summer starts showing up. Hurricanes start coming out of the wood. Few noroviruses, and they head back down. But if you're looking for what I think is the textbook part of Joe Napoli's double repo pattern. This is it. You pounced up on, what is that, June 4th. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 days, 14, 15 days above it. You have the big drop on June 27th. It comes on volume. You kind of come back up here on no volume. And like I said, the next close underneath that, not a lot of stocks out here that are really looking kind of weak, but certainly this move up off this huge 4 million share day down on June 27th was something of interest. What else do we have? A handful of stocks here for me to look through today. Breaking out today is Rollins, the security company, and it's got no juice. It's got no gusto. What was it, Miller? Wouldn't it Miller had gusto? Never heard that word ever said other than to do with beer. April 17th, $54.11, 1.67 million shares. Friday, we had 342,000 shares. Today, 217,000 shares. So not a bad setup. You had a lot of energy on the way down from April 17th down to May 3rd. Since that May 3rd move up, you really haven't had anything, maybe one day kind of stands out, and that was on the 11th of May of any kind of anything going on. Yep, always a slow volume day. Like I said, I'm not going to get too excited about jumping on any grenades out here until Friday, because I think that a lot of these stocks are just going to hold up, and they're assuming that earnings is going to be good from the big names. But that's about it. Let's get to some more well-known names. I thought this one was going to bounce. I just dislike the energy coming up on the downside on this one too. It's Marathon Petroleum, $70 on May 1st. 20 million, 21 million. Got into it with about half, so you didn't have a lot of juice coming in. About 8 million shares on the 25th of June. He had a little bounce out here today. Again, not much happening. Looks like maybe these things have found a floor, but doesn't look like these things are going to go anywhere until they consolidate for a while. In the financial space, MetLife, or the insurance space, nice test of a previous low and a nice bounce today. February 9th, that's $42.96 with 10 million shares. Got into it on Friday with 5.6 million shares. You got your bounce. I still dislike that almost all these patterns have you coming down off of May 22nd or thereabouts, and the energy actually increased. So even though you get a bounce out of these, I'm expecting these to come back and have a bit of a consolidation before they move significantly higher. In this case, back up to 52 on this giant gap.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And what do we have? Got a couple of emails, so we'll take a look at those. Again, a lot of these things, the problem is earnings is just fairly close. If they weren't fairly close, I'd certainly take a shot at these right away. One of these is iRobot. Came down on the last earnings on February 8th. Came down on monstrous volume of 10.2 million shares. Did kind of come back and test it with lighter volume back in the late April, 1st of May timeframe. It's moved back up. You had one day where this thing had a thrust and some volume, about 2.8 million shares going back into the huge volume down day of about 10 million shares. Fairly light volume, 1.7 on Thursday. Friday, you had 1.1 million shares. Today, 361,000 shares. So a pretty good setup out here if you're thinking about going short. The downside is earnings, which is IRBT, which is July 24th. So what do we got? 2 weeks. Again, these things can hang out. Everybody that's short, that hung on too long, that's sure that it's going out of business, could it get back up to 90 bucks? You know, it could. Do I think things are getting any better at the Roomba place, the little thing that runs around and vacuums your floor? I'll probably look at this a little bit more tonight at the company and see if anything's changing. But I don't think a lot of people ran out and bought Roombas over the last quarter. This may just be a bigger issue of people being way too short a stock, which is something that we want to look at here. Let's take a quick look at how short it is. How short is it? RBT. Okay. Yeah, fairly significant shorting the last 2 days. Let's see what it's out here. 11 days to cover. So, you know, could you pull the trigger on this one? I wouldn't with your money. I would feel bad because my guess is you're going to, with 11 days to cover, the only thing that can make you feel a little bit better on iRobot is that it had 21 days to cover at the end of May. So it's actually dropped in half. But you know, you went from about 45% short interest to 41. So still amazingly, massively shorted. And probably the stupid thing was me not catching it back then and saying, okay, I'll just hang on until the shorts get squeezed out. Because not a bad deal. It looked like about a 30% profit on that in the test. I didn't take a look at it at a time. As we said, about 10 days from now, we get Halliburton's earnings statement. Their energy up off the March 19th to May 17th high and back down to this low of Friday is about the same. So there is not a lot of drive either higher or lower. This looks like a more of a trading range. You did test that March 19th low that had just a share less than 10 million shares with 5.6 million shares on Friday. So almost half the volume. So you're going to get a bounce, but because you came down on about the same volume, I mean, for risk reward, you just have to wait until this thing comes back down and maybe on even lighter volume to that $44 level. Too many better fish in the sea. To FedEx came down, retested its 5 million share low, which was February 9th, $225.70 on that spike lower. With half the volume, you went below it, you've closed back above it. But again, a lot of these things had a lot of heavy selling off these recent highs. The June 12th on this one had some significant energy on the way down. So I would still like for this thing to bounce a little bit and then come back down with lighter volume. I think a lot of these stocks that did come down on heavier volume are probably setting up for some kind of fall rally that would take them to new highs. But that's going to mean a bounce and then a pullback maybe in August with even lighter volume to set up the big moves higher in these. What else do we have? Sienna testing its, pretty close to testing its previous highs, still 50 cents short. March 13th, $27.73, 5.8 million shares. Friday had 990,000 shares today. Got a little more so far, or 1.7 million shares, on Friday. 1 million shares today. So you're getting back up to a lot of these. But again, first thing we got to do is figure out when Sienna is. I think it's fairly quickly, August 30th. So this one, you have a little bit more time. Are people going to hold it up for 2 months into earnings? The answer is no. And you got light volume energy off this May 31st low was pretty light. Now, I don't short stocks under 30 bucks, so this one would kind of miss what we have, but it may be one of the better looking ones out there without earnings coming down the road. Boston Properties, BXP, that's back to its resistance level, which is set up by March 20th of this year, 126.74 with 900,000 shares. Got into it with 1 million shares on May 11th, but didn't break it. Did break it on Friday with 477,000 shares today. Got about 182,000 shares and a little bit of pullback, not much volume. But again, other than these spikes where you actually had some fairly heavy selling, like you did from May 11th down to May 21st, you didn't have a lot of juice on the way back up. You may have 1 or 2 days that had, a gap up, but they pretty much go back to very light volume after that. And what else do we have? Got a question about what I was doing. We'll see if I can't answer that. Do I actually have this? Should have it somewhere. There it is. I got asked to come out and sit in with a group from it used to be part of Microsoft, what they call Microsoft Research. They do a lot of research for the bigger company for things that they want to do. It's no longer Microsoft Research. Anyway, I had a lot of problems. I had actually been fairly vocal that Microsoft, without a good component of machine learning, let me put it this way, machine learning based on languages like Python and others, would be the death knell of its .NET initiative. They've done a lot of great things with it, but now they finally have a lot of people writing. Yeah, I think they've gone from version 1 to version 4 now in about 3 weeks. They'll actually have the version 1.0 come out fairly soon. But one of the things you can do with it is group things, and that's what I was working on. We'll show a little bit of that when we come back and wrap the show up.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, if you're going to study anything, you got to be able to put some calipers on it, take its temperature. You got to be able to quantify what you're looking at. One of the problems with especially stock market data is we see a lot of things observationally, but we can't actually put statistics with it because it's kind of tough. One of the things I always wanted to do was a better version of identification of candlesticks and what they mean. The problem is that everybody kind of has their own idea what a candlestick is and what it means. Statistically, it's very hard to do because whatever you make the mathematical routine say it is, it can just be a penny over and suddenly it doesn't work. You can make it fuzzy. Well, then everything kind of gets blurred. There's some new techniques that work very well. I worked on them last year, but they didn't work well enough. There's some new stuff, like I said, that I was working with. It makes it a lot easier to do that. And we'll be seeing more in my daily newsletter about the results about this and maybe some of the decisions I make. But one of the things is, how many different kinds of candles are there in the stock market? It's kind of an interesting question. And the answer statistically, for most stocks, although it varies, you have to do it for each stock, somewhere around 25 different stocks. If you're watching on this as I finish up the day here, I'll just show you, but you can statistically drop them in a bucket of about 25 different ones. And my thought is that I'm going to be able to figure out exactly, when big moves come, which one of these candles happened before the big moves in the stock market, and see what validity and maybe how I can make my trading better over time. But if you're gonna make something better, and you're gonna engineer your way through it, not just observationally decide that's what happened, you gotta know what it is. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to, and we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.